Great to see you here again. My name is Luc de Custer, founder of the Custer Academy. And in this new video, we're going to talk about project planning, requirements, scope, and the work breakdown structure. But before we continue, don't forget to click on the subscribe button, click on the bell button, and every time we have a new video, YouTube will inform you about it. So let's have a look at defining the requirements. Once we finish the charter and we can continue with the project, the first step is to define the requirements. Requirements are basically the needs of the customer, what they need from a project. Now, we have to relate to the resolution of the problem or attaining the objectives. That's what we want to do. We want to get the objectives of the project that we want to complete successfully. Now, it can also relate to the way the work will be managed, the capabilities of the result, business, legal, procedural, and quality-related issues. Requirements are gathered mainly from the client, but some stakeholders can also have a say in this. Compliance with the business case and the company strategy is very important because the projects are done for the company, so we have to ensure that everything is done according to the business case, what is defined there. And of course, we have to have requirements defined that support the company strategy. Now, there are different categories of requirements. We have business requirements. That's basically the main reason of the project, the business need that the project should address. We have stakeholder requirements. What do the stakeholders expect? What do they want to gain? There are requirements related to the solution. We talk about functional requirements, how the product or the service should work, how it should look like, how to make it effective. We talk about reliability, security, level of service, and supportability. Transition requirements, we have to look at handover procedures, training needs, documents that have to be provided. The project requirements, process of initiation, planning, execution, monitoring, control, and closeout. Quality measures of the project or service. When is a deliverable accepted? And technical requirements, how we will build it, what are the specifications of the solutions. Now, based on this, we're going to define the scope. The scope is part of what we call scope management, the scope management processes, and we have the product scope, which relates to the product. It ensures that all the functions and characteristics are present in the end product. But we also have the project scope, which refers to the project work, the work that has been delivered to create the product. The scope refers to all the work that must be completed to meet the requirements of the project defined by the client and the sponsors. It also contains acceptance criteria, very important that we have to see. When deliverables are created, we have to have clear ways, clear descriptions when to accept the deliverables. Now, there are also exclusions, what is not included in the project. It's sometimes forgotten, but it's very important to say these items are not included. We looked at a waterfall and an agile environment. When we look at a waterfall environment, the scope is fixed at the beginning of the project definition. So we fix the scope, and once the scope is known, we will complete the scope. However, in an agile environment, this is basically variable. The scope can change during the different steps of the agile project. When we look at the WBS, once we know the scope, we can create the WBS, the work breakdown structure, which is a hierarchical overview of the project. It's a very important part of the project because it shows the structure, and I typically call it the cut and paste process, what we do in the project. We reduce the complexity of the project by cutting it into smaller, more manageable pieces, and finally we go to what we call work packages. The decomposition, the knowledge about the project increases. We have here some advantages of progressive elaboration. We understand more how the project should look like, what is going to happen, and how can we find all the activities that have to be completed to create the project. Now, at the bottom of the WBS, according to PMI, there are what we call the independent work packages. But to schedule the project, the work packages themselves may have to be decomposed further. A work package is basically a mini project which can be allocated to one organization, to one team, and they are independent from the other work packages. When we have a small project, a work package can be the activity. Large projects, typically we will have work packages that still have to be decomposed further to be able to plan the project in detail. Let's have a look at WBS. Here we have a WBS to go on a holiday. So what are the things we have to do? So first of all, we look at what are the first level holidays, the project. What are the other details? Well, we have to find ways to select a holiday. We have to prepare it. We have to look at the transport, the location, some planning elements, the holiday itself, and the report at the end of the holiday. When we select, we look at finance, some criteria what we want to have. We look at possible destinations, and we have an evaluation and a selection of what the holiday will be. Prepare, we have to look at legal issues, legal elements, and we have to look at health recommendations or legislation. Transport can be air, road, or water, or a combination of them. It depends. We can fly somewhere, then we use road. We can travel over water. We may have different locations that we want to see, the towns, the sites, the itinerary that we want to do. We look at planning. We have to look at airplane tickets, road tickets, hotels, reservations, and things like that. The holiday itself, we have to go to the destination and we have to travel. And after the holiday, we like to have our documentation. We try to make a report. We keep what we did. Perhaps it can be interesting for other people or for another holiday. We can make an album with pictures or we can make a video. When we go further, we can further decompose the legal part. We look at the passports that we may need, visa, other documents that are necessary. Look at COVID regulations. We may have to have a vaccination certificate or a QR code to travel to certain destinations. Health-wise, we may have to do a checkup, going to the doctor to see everything is okay, go to the dentist. We have to look at some equipment we can take with us, some equipment for small interventions. We may need some certificates about vaccinations, things like that, some first aid, and we may have to take some vaccinations. So this is a simple example of a holiday. Now, another way to present WBS is in table format. Here we have the different activities. And this is what you typically would see in a program. You will see all the activities with the description, duration, cost. All those elements are basically added when you describe, when you create the project in a software package. The tree format is very visual, while the table format provides us other possibilities and, for example, to do calculations. So that was it about requirement, scope, and WBS. Don't forget to click on the subscribe button, click on the bell button, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in our next videos. Thank you, and bye-bye.